Hi you all, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have for you guys a lobster grilled cheese. So the other week I made this recipe. I'm posting it kind of late, but I ended up making a lobster and shrimp bisque. So go back to the prior video to watch that. But I had so much lobster, so I decided, you know what, this is going to be a 2-day recipe kind of spiel. And I'm getting to post it now. So I did have a lot of lobster tail, and I'm pretty insta famous for my sandwiches, grilled cheese specifically. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to do this lobster bisque. With that lobster bisque, I'm going to do a lobster grilled cheese. So here is my take on that, and hope you guys love this recipe. All right, so we first get started with some lobster tails. So I had a lot here. You obviously don't need that much for a grilled cheese, but I got the lobster cut in half because I want that flavor to be fully throughout that lobster meat, and got that into a skillet with a combination of butter and olive oil. Add in those lobster tails, and this is an Old Bay lobster, so as you see, I've seasoned that with some garlic, some Old Bay seasoning, some Slap Your Mama seasoning, salt, and pepper. So once those are finished cooking, as you see here, you let it cool a little bit. You don't want to burn your hands. You then remove the lobster from the lobster tails, and I kind of sped it up for you guys to see it, but basically at that point you are then going to chop up your lobster. You can leave your pieces a little bit whole, or you can chop them down, whichever is your preference. And then for the grilled cheese, I am using a herb butter. Again, I've made many posts about making butters, so I made this garlic herb butter, which is what I decided to use for this recipe, with some sourdough. This sourdough looked like wheat bread to me. I don't know why, but it's not wheat bread. It is a sourdough, and I did the herb butter as my butter. You can use regular butter if you have it, all the same. And for this recipe, I decided to go with a white sharp cheddar, and then a Harvarti cheese. It's so hard to pronounce it, but Harvarti and white cheddar. I did a white cheese melt this time because normally grilled cheeses are with the yellow cheese, and this time I wanted to do a little bit different. And the key to cooking a grilled cheese is on low and slow. You don't want to cook on high heat because you want to allow time for that bread to get crusty and get that heat built so that it melts the cheese, and not so much get it browned right away. So low and slow. And then you can add an olive oil as needed if you feel like your butter is not enough in your pan, which is what I did here. So I added the lobster on top of the cheese, and then now I add the second cheese on top. So the first layer was the white cheddar. The second layer here is Harvarti. And then I put my other toast on top. And now you want to, again, let that go low and slow so that your heat is going throughout your sandwich so that you get your cheese melted. So then I added my butter on top of my second layer of my bread. This is 2 grilled cheeses, by the way, not 1. Hope you guys can tell. And then allow that butter to be softened first before you want to do your grilled cheese. So soften your butter. Makes it easier to spread and makes it easier to make your sandwich. So then after that, I fumble with this one, but I eventually get this flipped over onto the other side. And then we're going to do our other flip on the other sandwich as well, which went a lot smoother. But just try to hold it together because it won't be really melted through because it's only halfway cooked so far. So hold that sandwich together as best as you can. You might get a little butter on your fingers, but you know, you want a cute sandwich. So here we are. The sandwich has been cooking. The second side will take a lot more, less of a time than on the first side. And once that is crusted and finished, remove that from the pan. And then we're going to get ready to serve it on up. And so now we hear this beautiful crustiness of this bread as I cut through it. It is so nice and crusty. A grilled cheese has to be like really crusty. I also do sometimes use mayonnaise as my spread with butter in the pan to make grilled cheeses if you want a really crusty sandwich as well. Mayonnaise does the trick very nicely. But anyway, now we just get it plated. Add that to a plate. I add in just a few pieces of chive, and here we are. my grilled cheese is served. Pretty fancy but easy recipe. And look at that ooey gooey cheese goodness. And hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. And thanks for watching as always, and make sure to subscribe.